Hi everyone, welcome back to Crisis Tarot. Today we're going to be going through your first interaction with your next love and seeing if there's anything about communication or locations, potentially also looking at personalities of this person. So let's dive into it. Alright, so pile one, you guys picked out the citrine crystal, so let's have a look at potentially where you're meeting this person. We have the Star and the Ace of Cups. I think for some of you this could be online dating, and it does feel like you're having like multiple interactions and trying to figure out, the right person. And you might have found that there's been a lot of delay in terms of, you text someone, they take a long time to message back, and so there's this sort of awkward back and forth that tends to happen. All of a sudden you'll get this message from this person and they almost interact immediately. So it's a big shift from previous interactions. That's the main thing. And it does feel like there's not so much an instant connection, but it sort of is quick to build over the period of time. So let's say over a week it starts to build up into a more steady conversation. You feel more interested in that person. We have the 6th house with sustainability, and we have immune coli with root. So potentially for very few of you, it could be that this is someone from your past, just based on IC, which tends to be the bottom of your chart. So potentially it could be someone who is from your past or that you've interacted with previously, or feels, I guess, similar to someone you've met in the past in terms of personality and physicality as well. It could be that you meet, the first place of meeting could very much be, an outdoor location or somewhere that you frequent often. So obviously for first dates, we tend to go for places that are surrounded by people that are open, just for safety. But it does feel like this is some place that you are familiar with more than anything, and it's somewhere that you can almost connect to. For some of you as well, it could be that you have similar hobbies or things that you do on a day-to-day basis. Like you might go to a certain park very often, and they could do the same just at different times, and so you might end up interacting for whatever reason. But it does feel like they're very much in your proximity. It's not necessarily like someone that's going to be a long distance relationship. It's someone that's going to be within your community. So we also have Owl Spirit, I see clearly now. And we have the Lizard Spirit with Dream the World into Being. Both very different energies. I guess one of you slightly more rational, intellectual, one's a bit more of a dreamer, more intuitive, able to... So you see very different perspectives from each other, but it does seem like at your core, you both have very similar values and ways of interacting. And it does seem potentially with this Owl Spirit person that I feel like they tend to sort of let the conversation flow, but they don't necessarily put too much of their personal details out or give personal anecdotes as often as the Lizard Spirit probably would. So take it based on your personality, but it does feel like one person gives more personal details than the other person initially for that, period of time that you are conversing before you meet in person. It does feel like this interaction is going to take a while for it to really develop, and it's going to take, I guess, at least 6 to 8 dates before you actually feel like this is the person. It is a slower moving conversation, but I think the base connection forms pretty quickly, within that week, like I said. And it does feel like there's strong interactions between all of you. It's just a matter of connecting on a deeper level. So we have I with psychic ability, trust your intuition. I think for a lot of you, you could end up being that Lizard Spirit just based on that intuitive quality, but especially with this interaction, because the owl spirit doesn't give as much as you would hope to, if you are the lizard spirit, just keep in mind that using your intuition to really gauge whether they're, interested or not is something that you just have to do, because they're not going to give as clear of a message compared to what you probably would. And I think the owl spirit has struggled in the past with relationships or past relationships, and so they're a little more reserved when it comes to opening up, and it is going to take a little more time for them to really adjust and see that you're someone who's definitely worth pursuing. So it's good to keep that in mind. It can also be that the reason you're initially this person catches your eye is that they have very significant qualities to their eyes. And you can almost see the owl spirit has almost a golden hue to the eye, which it can be very alluring. I would compare it to, I guess, if you have very prominent colored eyes, or if you have, I guess, the expressions that you use with your eyes, especially if you're online dating and you see pictures of someone, you're going to have that understanding a little bit better. But I think that's probably what draws you in initially. And so it could be that this person also has very significant eye contact, or they don't tend to blink as often. So some things to keep in mind with that. But it does seem like, in terms of the initial conversation, it is going to be more or less about just understanding each other and getting to know the person. I think this is very much online dating. I'm not really getting the vibe for in-person meeting necessarily. So you're both in it for the same sort of reasons, to interact with other people. And so that's probably why it takes a while before you sort of realize this person's definitely interested. And some people just aren't very good at messaging online, I find. And so it could just be that too. So we do have a coffee shop as one of the locations of meeting, and another shop again, so potentially somewhere again with a lot of people, a lot of interactions. For some of you, you could end up going on hikes together or going to experience something nature-based. It does seem again that you're from the same city as well, so definitely not going to have a long distance relationship with that. We also have a museum or art gallery. Potentially that's where you're also going for a first date. And we also have a party or disco, so potentially, I wouldn't say this is for everyone, but for very few of you, just based on what the cards are showing, it's probably something to do with being in the same community circles, or very rarely that you're going to meet at a disco or nightclub or something along those lines. But I think initially with this meeting, again, you are somewhat connected from your past. For some of you, that could be the case. So it could be similar friend groups, friend or a friend or a friend, that sort of thing. And we do have the Lovers card pop up as well. So that is very interesting. We do have a couple of other messages. Oh, this is funny. I know how you feel just by looking into your eyes. And we got eye as one of the cards. So potentially they could, or you could, interpret each other's based on eye contact. We have You Drive Me Crazy. You and I, Unstoppable and Slightly Ridiculous. Love that. My heart already knows your rhythm, even if my eyes haven't found you yet. Something about eyes are very common in this group, so something to keep in mind. You might find someone with very significant eyes, or eyes that are very dreamy to you. One day I'll whisper finally when I look into your eyes. Everything's about eyes. What is going on with this group? And then finally we have red string and soulmates. So high potential for this group for being a long-lasting relationship. So keep that in mind. But that was your reading, pile 1. Hope you enjoyed it. Please do like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye. Welcome, pile 2, to your reading. So let's have a look about your first interaction with your future person. Oh, 2 reverse cards. We have the 7 of Cups reversed and the 6 of Cups reversed. Okay, so starting off, I think both of you have had like a delay in dating for a while, at least like up to 2 years. Like it's going to be, both of you are having no luck in love, not dating, either personal reasons or you just decide not to, or, you know, previous relationship sucked. One of those is definitely happening. So something to keep in mind. But that's how both of you start to interact, is there's this period of just silence in dating life and you're just single all the way. So that's good to know if you don't want to deal with exes and things like that. Not necessarily involved. In fact, it feels like it's not involved at all. We have solar flares with activate. So definitely for some of you, this could be almost an instantaneous reaction to this person. You're going to feel like things are going super smoothly. It's like instant attraction. You feel like this person is amazing. They feel the same about you because we have Aries with act. So one of you is definitely going to be more straightforward and pursuing of the other. And with Aries, it's again, warriors going to battle. They are ready to make sure that they like literally tell you to your face, I am very much interested, try and go on a date with me. That is the vibe. That is definitely going to happen. And it does feel like either one or both of you have such a radiant personality or have like really beautiful smiles, and so when they interact with you, the only thing they notice, or even if you know they're watching you or something, they observing you, they feel like you just have a very warm energy, or you could be really social. So one of those two is something that they definitely notice during that first conversation. We have koi fish spirit with there is always enough. And we have the brown bear spirit with take time out. I think with this group, more than anything, the one thing that I'm picking up on is that one person from this relationship feels like they've just perfectly met their match. There's always enough. It feels like they literally see you as the only one. As strange as that sounds for a first interaction, based on how quickly this is forming, it feels like they know their goals and what they want in a partner, and you are ticking those boxes every single time that they have, you know, an extra, you know, conversation with you. It feels like a very quick interaction. And then with the brown bear spirit with the other individual, take what resonates. If you're the type to, you know, go after what you want in terms of dating, if you're not, you know, hesitating to talk to strangers, you could be the koi fish spirit, is what I'm picking up on. If you are not that type, and you're not the type to make the first move, then potentially you are the brown bear spirit, in which you don't want to leave all your cards out, but you are intrigued. You feel like you want to have more interactions with this person, but you also don't want to, you also have that nervous quality where you don't want to go and pursue things too quickly, and so you're sort of holding back a little bit. And I feel like that's why you need to take time out. And it feels like your initial interaction is so perfect that you need to reanalyze for yourself and decide if that's something that you want to pursue. Because I feel like this person moves super quick. Although koi fish don't move quick, it feels like this person is just bulldozing you with like interest. And so to make sure that you're making the right decision for yourself, you feel like you need to take time out or speak to friends or just reanalyze the entire conversation and like make sure that this is right for you, sort of thing. We have Bo. You are highly thought of. Again, you are literally a gift wrapped up for this person, is how they see you. So during that first conversation, they just can't get enough of you. They feel like you are a gift from the gods, essentially. And it does feel like with this interaction, it's something that is definitely longer lasting. It's going to be something, as nervous as you seem to be, it does feel like there's going to be a very significant relationship that comes out of this. I don't think this is going to be something that is, I guess, once off. But let's get a few extra messages. That was more than I expected. Funnily enough, yeah, that is essentially their reaction to you. Got some very interesting cards now. We do have board games. Potentially this can be trying to analyze the other person and trying to think of their next move. It can also be that you both enjoy intellectual conversations or just using puzzles and skills and things like that. You could be impressed by theirs or them about you. We also have this sort of workplace scenario. Potentially you can meet through work or some sort of project that you're working on, or in a space where you can really concentrate. So I feel like that first interaction is somewhere that you can really focus on each other in that sense and see their skill set. We do have a back and forth text conversations. For some of you, it can be the case. And we have books. So potentially you are both very intellectual, or you have a similar interest, or similar goals that you're pursuing as well. And for some of you, it could be that they stalk your social media. And for some of you, we do have toxic. So whether that's but the thing is, I'm not really feeling that at the moment with this. It could be that someone had a toxic relationship in the past. Could be yourself, could be them. But it does feel like it's not so much that. I feel like it's part of you analysing to make sure they're not toxic in that first interaction. Again, you could have a very intimate relationship and potentially going on vacations and stuff together. Whoops. We have the city, so potentially you're from the same city, and it could be that yourself or them could enjoy travel or vice versa. And it could be, for some of you, you meet at a party or meet through a similar friend community or nightclub. Take what resonates. But it does feel like the initial interaction is quite significant. So we have wavy hair. So for one or both of you, wavy hair. We have too many inside jokes. There you go. I'm trying to read my handwriting. It's not great. I'm waiting for someone real that is you. Angular features. And I want to know what your scars and your smiles are. interesting. So it definitely feels like this individual wants to have deeper conversations with you, and they are there for the long term. So that's something to keep in mind. But overall, pretty good start to the relationship, but we'll have to see where it goes. So that was your reading, pile 1. Hope you enjoyed it. Please do like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye. Welcome, pile 3, to your reading. You guys picked out the amethyst crystal, so let's have a look at what your next interaction with your love is going to be like. We have the Knight of Cups, and we have the Wheel of Fortune reversed. For some of you, this can be that one person's more interested in the other, and it takes a lot of time before both of you are on the same page. It does feel like this is more of a group situation, where one person feels like they, can, date a lot of people, things are moving along. One person's more focused on you, or the other way around. But one person's focused on the other, and so it's going to take time for both individuals to be on the same page. It could be because of dating apps and things like that, but it does feel like over time you're starting to develop more of a strong relationship, but starting off is very, very slow. We have Trine with symbiosis, and we have the 5th house with passion. Potentially for some of you, it does feel like this relationship is something that you have a good ground starting point, and it does feel like you have similar hobbies, you have similar passions, you have even similar communities with the way it's working out. But it feels like the journey to being in a more romantic relationship, that's going to take a bit more time with this. I feel like starting off, you have really solid interactions. Things, feel comfortable at the very least. But in terms of having that romantic passion, that's going to take a lot more time to build up for it to work out. We have the Coyote Spirit with trust in divine detours. Again, timing is everything with this relationship, and it does feel like in terms of one of you pursuing the other, it is going to be a longer process. Things aren't necessarily going to fall into place immediately compared to, pile 2 was definitely straight, first interaction was amazing, straight to a romantic relationship. This isn't quite like that. This is a slower process. We have Parrot with Watch Your Words, and Hummingbird with Be Here Now. And it does feel like you guys have really solid banter between each other. It feels like conversations flow really easily, but again, that timing of it working out is something that it's just going to happen on its own. There's very little that you can do to speed things up, and there's very little that you can do to make it happen at the soonest possible moment. It does feel like it is a longer journey, but you start off as really solid friends and then build up from there. So that's more or less what I'm picking up. We have Turkey with someone is behaving stupidly. One of both of you, who knows, but just keep in mind that the reason timing isn't working out is one of you hasn't gone through a journey in which you are going to really understand the other person's perspective. And I think there's certain lessons and there's certain things that you just have to experience before you can become a more mature person. And I think that's why there's so many detours and people watching words and things like that. It's just someone sort of throws off the relationship and then you go back on track and then you throw it off again. And it could be part of the banter where they just say something that is not necessarily how they feel, but it comes out and it doesn't match how they feel. sort of thing. But it does feel like it is going to be a slower relationship from that perspective. But with this interaction, it does feel like when you do get into the relationship part of things, it flows a lot better. There's less confusion, there's more understanding, there's not as much he said, she said sort of things. Things are a lot smoother when things are on track, is what I'm picking up. So let's pull out a couple of messages and potentially how you first meet. I think I'll take those. Probably won't take more than that. So it could be in the same city, could be for some of you childhood friends or having some sort of similar childhood upbringing. You both could be very interested in singing or have similar friend groups or in the same friend group. Connecting to nature or some sort of nature place with a lake could be something significant in terms of this relationship. You both can have not so much physical affection, but it's just that you sort of mirror each other in some capacity. And we have definitely physical closeness as part of it. Mending a broken heart for some of you guys. And it does feel like you both have a very comforting relationship with one another. It doesn't feel necessarily like it's always negative, although I do feel like I have been a bit harsh with this group. But I think in terms of interest and interactions, things are pretty steady. And you both seem to be heading in the same direction and same interest in life. I think it's just a matter of going through that cycle and trying to balance things out. We have the countryside, so potentially for some of you, you both live in the countryside, or one of you lives in the country, one of you in the city. It could be that it is a bit of a long distance relationships at times. Again, divine timing and divine detours are taking place, so don't focus too much on that. More so focus on the long term of this relationship. For some of you, although I have been picking up like really close relationships, it could be that you need either a new start or this is a completely new person in your life, so you haven't met them yet. So for some of you, you are at that stage where you've gone past that divine timing, but some of you, it could be that you haven't met that person yet, and therefore this is just starting. Again, outdoor activities could be something quite significant for you, and we have a disco, which could be same community or nightclub party. That could be your first meeting. Okay, so the other messages that you have is holiday romance. Let's grow old together. The timing will be perfect, even if it's not on time. We have divine feminine, younger, gift-giving, acts of service. Short, your opposite. I love hearing your voice. I want to meet you right now. I don't need you to complete me. I just need you by my side. You make me flustered, and there is a divine thread pulling us together. So that was all your messages. So that was your reading, pile 3. Hope you enjoyed it. Please do like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye. Hello, pile number 4. We're up to 4. Pile number 4, welcome to your reading on your next connection. You guys picked out the Rainbow Moonstone crystal. So starting off, we have the Lovers reversed and we have the Hierophant. With the Lovers reversed, it shows that you are someone who has a very deep connection to this individual. And it's something that is almost written in the stars. And it's something that you will only experience if you are I suppose, gone through a lot of relationships or are at least in your mid-20s. And it does feel that it is a slightly longer time frame for you to meet this person. It's not going to be something immediate. It's not going to be something that happens, you know, spontaneously. It's something that takes time. And you're going to find there's going to be a lot of short-term dates and things in the meantime, but it's nothing that holds significance enough for you. And you're going to find there's a lot of barriers that come up regardless of how much that you try to interact and how much the other person tries to interact. There's just going to be barriers in place because there's something that is perfectly meant for you, and that's just going to take time to occur. So let's have a look at your reading. Even when I was pulling out the cards, your group took the longest in terms of shuffling to get. So it can be that this is a relationship that either takes a lot of time or takes a lot of time to get into the 3D. So consider that. We have deliberated with discomfort, and we have ascendant and entrance. Very different vibes from the both of you. It feels like in one individual's life, things are heading in the perfect direction. It feels like they know exactly where they're going. They've got the promotion they want. They've got the, you know, new house, new car. They're living the life. They have their life together. The other individual, again, you can see very clearly, not so much. They're going through a lot of reflection, a lot of cycles, a lot of things that they need to learn about and relearn. It's something that takes a lot of time for them to develop, and that's something that they're trying to work towards, is to bring about their true selves forward, being able to really communicate how they feel. It could again be the complete opposite, where they don't have the job they want, they don't have the achievements that they want in life, and the goals haven't been met, that sort of thing. So you're both on very different pages. But let's have a look. We have the Crow Spirit with Co-Create with Spirit, and we have the Swan Spirit with Time for a Deep Dive. Two very opposite spirits, but both birds, which are quite interesting. I am picking up that you're probably more the Crow Spirit, while they're more the Swan Spirit. On the surface, especially because they're ticking off all their goals, to the outsider, it's going to feel like they just have everything and their life is perfect. But the hard work that they put underneath is not seen as clearly. Whereas in your case, a lot of people around you can sense that you're trying to build something, that you're trying to create something that is significant. They're not going to be able to see it immediately, and they might see you as sort of living life, not really having much quality, I suppose, to your life. But the hidden depths of being able to reassess and realign with your true self is something that is very formidable. And so this Co-Create with Spirit is that you are trusting divine intervention. You're trusting that things will go to plan. Even if you're not there yet, you're continuously putting in effort regardless. So both of you have very high work ethics, and it feels like you're both very much focused on yourselves. Like, yes, you want love. Yes, you want, you know, being in relationships, but it does feel like the sense of you're both focused on yourselves. And so that development of self is quite significant for all of you. We have Brute. Increase your efforts if you want to achieve your goals. What did I just say? I didn't look at any of the cards when I was shuffling, but all of today's readings have been like very much interconnected. So, Brute. This could be that you meet as you are, you know, walking or on the go or traveling from place to place. That could be a way that you meet this person. It feels like there's a lot of mystery about your connection to this person. And I think it's not so much that you know you're going to meet them, but for some of you can almost have a sense that something significant should happen but isn't happening. Or especially if you're the crow spirit and you're very spiritually inclined, it can be that you have an innate sense that this is something that is right, it is definitely on the way, I just need to wait and see how this goes down. But the other thing that I'm somewhat picking up is when you do get into a relationship with this person, it does feel like the swan spirit will help you achieve whatever goals and ambitions that you do have. They sort of help you, support you, give you certain resources that they, found quite helpful, things along those lines. They're very good at helping you with, whatever you have to achieve and things along those lines. I think I pulled out a little bit too much, but let's just go with it. We have a ring, so potential for long-term commitment or marriage if that's what you want. We have, you could both be foodies, you could love cooking for one another. We do have a train, so potentially meeting on a train, meeting when you're traveling, meeting at a time where, again, you're moving from place to place. You're not staying in one spot. Physical affection seems quite common with all of these. So again, cooking, preparing meals could be significant. You might have a very strong connection to, making meals with each other or going to restaurants together. There's a lot of physical affection in these cards, so potential that you guys love that. Could like dancing together. Again, we do have slow burn, so for some of you this could be a slow starting relationship. Again, we have the scene from Business Proposal, which is a K-drama, and it's essentially like the perfect meeting, so that could be for some of you as well. We have popcorn and a movie, could be your first date, could be something that you enjoy doing together. Again, lots of physical comfort, physical relationships. Hands could be somewhat significant. You might be attracted to their hands. Again, it feels like there's a bit of a distance between the two of you when you initially meet, but it's something about the relationship that you can grow old together with, or you meet when you're slightly older. You could meet through friends or through friendly interactions. You could enjoy the same type of music or enjoy singing. We do have childhood, so potentially this is someone from your childhood or makes you have a bring about more of your inner child. Again, a lot of travel together. You could also have similar plans for the future. We do have a proposal, so that is something to keep in mind. Mending a broken heart for some of you as well, if that is a past relationship. There's a lot of cards that came up for this group. You could be mirroring each other. Again, physical affection. And you could meet through nature or in a nature-based setting. That could be something that is significant. We have telepathy, so potentially you can read each other's minds or just end up doing the same thing. I want you to make the first move. We have too many inside jokes, wavy hair. The timing will be perfect even if it's not on time. Let's grow old together, that came up a few times. We have my soulmate, so very high potential for long-term relationships. Enemies to lovers, that is an interesting trope that came out for your group. Fast movement. Wait for me. Loyal. They could value loyalty. I'm doing the inner work right now so that I can love you as you deserve. Our love is a slow burn, and we got slow burn twice, so that's something. I'm waiting for someone real that is you. Travel, romance, blind date, through friends. So again, through friends, through your local community. Spontaneous, I crave you. Maybe we have already met in dreams in other lives. So again, potential for very strong divine connection, which is what we picked up initially in this reading. So thank you for listening to today's reading. Hope you enjoyed it. Please do like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye. Hello, Pile 5. Welcome to your reading. You guys got a few extra cards compared to the other groups, so let's see how we go. We have the Ace of Pentacles reversed, the Eight of Cups, and the Five of Pentacles reversed. For some of you, you could be going through a bit of a environmental shift or a financial shift. Take as it resonates, but it does feel like there's a point in time where you are sort of gathering resources, making sure that you're on the right track, moving away from things that don't work for you and moving towards things that do, having a bit of a, decluttering of your life, I guess is the best word for it. That's how this relationship sort of comes into play. It does feel like through this interaction, you're going to meet someone very significant, meeting someone who will help you through a part of your life that you feel like you need more help with. So we have Sagittarius with expand. We also have the moon with perception. So two very different energies. I think both of you are going through this sort of duality where you want to travel, you want to expand, you want to, have as much, beauty and, wealth and power in this life as you desire. However, you also want really deep, solid connections and things that, feel comfortable, feel like home, feel like it makes sense. And there's this balance that you have to play between these two ideas that you have and deciding what is right for you and what is not. And I think that is what you are both going through at this time, hence the decluttering that is taking place. But we also have the Beaver Spirit, lay a solid foundation. Koala Spirit has a plan. Turtle Spirit, slow and steady wins the race. So with all of those interactions, again, you're laying a solid foundation, understanding what is worth it in your life and what is not, filtering out people, filtering out objects, potentially moving locations for some of you, especially with Sagittarius and travel. It's sort of things that go hand in hand, but you're making sure you're making plans for the long term, things that align to your inner spirit, and your inner self. You want to connect to those parts of yourselves that are quite significant. We also have wealth. So for some of you, in terms of this interaction, that thing that you're going to help each other with and them with you is to develop wealth. Whether it's wealth in knowledge, wealth in finances, whatever it is, you're going to develop that together. And it's something that will play a significant role in the future. And it's interesting because we had two of the Pentacle cards that were reversed. So potentially money and finances is quite significant for both of you, and it's something that you want to try and develop skills in. So that's going to be quite significant in terms of this relationship. You're also going to find with both the Koala and Beaver Spirit that there's going to be interactions that are going to take time to develop and take time to really hone into. And these are going to be, again, more long-term plans. All these cards, it does feel like this relationship is going to be something that comes up at the right time and it's going to be a slow burn of a relationship. There's going to be a lot of progressions that need to take place before you can start. And even if, things don't necessarily go to plan, there definitely are moments where you feel like things are perfectly on track. I think all of them wanted to come out. I was only going to take a few, but each group that I read for, there's more and more cards that want to come out, so we're just going to have to work through it. And some reason this has come in every single pile. I don't know if it's October and everyone's celebrating Halloween, but there is a lot of parties, nightclubs, social events that are going to take place, and it could be that you meet through that. We also have the countryside, so potentially being in the countryside or in a event that has farm animals for some of you. There is also potential for marriage with this relationship in terms of long-term benefits. One of you could be significantly taller than the other. You could be two peas in a pod, is the way I see this. Yin and yang, again. Physical affection could be quite significant for this group. We do have the red thread of fate. You might enjoy similar hobbies or enjoy games, puzzles, things along those lines. Video games also come under that as well. It could be love at first sight for some of you, or falling madly in love once you do sort of develop into that relationship. Again, travel could be something that's quite significant for you. Taking photos, sharing on Instagram, communicating on the dating apps, that sort of thing could be quite significant. And funny we say that because there is this one as well. We do comment on each other's photos. We do have a lot of gifts and acts of service as well, and potentially you might enjoy food and cooking together as well. I think that was all the picture stuff, so let's have a look at the others. Potentially this person has tattoos, or you have tattoos. Enemies to lovers. We've crossed paths, you just didn't know it. Let's grow old together. Angular features, secret admirer. They could be short. Don't worry, we'll meet sooner than you expect. I want to know all your scars and smiles. So they want to know the good and bad of you. Can't wait to hold you. Again, physical affection, quite significant. I know how you feel just by looking at your eyes. I'll find you in this lifetime or the next. You make me flustered. International love, again, travel. So might meet when traveling. I don't need you to complete me. I just need you by my side. I have written you love letters in my dreams 1,000 times. Soulmate. Romantic. I've prayed for you. Darling, I'm yours. Physical touch. Again, very physically affectionate. Curly hair. Could be a new love. This card popped up, so it could be a new love or new person in your life. We also have this, so enjoy camping outdoors. You both could be potentially introverts as well. I don't know your name yet, but I already know you'll be home to me. Deep set eyes, extrovert, distance. So potentially either traveling from one place to the other or some sort of long distance relationship. Something along those lines. So that was your reading, pile 5. Hope you enjoyed it. Please do like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.